Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to focus on a different topic. This is going to be a brief introduction to the topic of automation as an enabler to zero-to emissions. As we all strive to achieve a more sustainable future, it is obviously crucial that we explore innovative ways on how to reduce energy consumption and CO2 emissions, particularly in the manufacturing sector. Now, at this point, this is where advanced technologies come into play, such as AI and robotics. And at this point, I'm very happy to pass the word to OMRON R&D Manager Patricia Torres. It is good to see you, and yeah, the stage is yours for the next 10 minutes.
Thank you, Thomas. Hi, and welcome to the presentation. I'm happy to be here. We're going to talk a little bit about how automation can help to achieve the net zero targets. But the first thing that we're going to do is just to check how are we doing so far. So in the last 2 years, do you remember that we got like the sustainability development goals, and we have some commitments to 2030 to reduce the CO2 emissions. But so far, the world is not making a good improvement. For the last 2 years, we are not increasing the reduction on the CO2 emissions, even if you take into account that we have a pandemic. So the thing is that all the views go to the manufacturing industry, and this is not improving mainly for 3 reasons. First, the energy we consume is still coming from non-sustainable sources. The waste we produce is still not going into the circular economy or properly managed, and then the use of the natural resources to produce the manufacturing things, the consumer goods, is still not that efficient. So, problem is that for the manufacturers, the consumer packaged goods manufacturers, 80% of the emissions actually happen outside the manufacturing. It is along the value chain. So that's a challenge and a pressure for them, coming from the consumers, from the regulators also, even from the employees and obviously the consumers. So there are 2 ways to go. First, we have to decarbonize the value chain. How? Well, we have to use a better use of the resources and the energy. We have to change the process for low emission ones, and we try to eliminate waste as much as possible, or when you actually make it properly managed. And the second way to go is make the circular economy, make it the economy circular, meaning that we need to make sure that the business models that we're going to go through are making sure that everything that can be recycled will re-enter the cycle, the circular economy. And here's where automation comes to help, because with automation systems, you can do a lot of things that were very complex in the past to make and to migrate to sustainable solutions and circular economy solutions. Basically, we in automation do a lot of optimizations. We help with measuring, we help with analyzing, with predicting. We help also acting, basically making or developing solutions to correct what's wrong, and helping with the reporting for the regulators. Let's have a look at very quickly at some examples in every part of the supply chain or the value chain. In sourcing, what automation can do, for instance, is helping a lot with automated farms. Here, for instance, we see that having a better optimization of the water that we use, or the transportation of the plants in vertical farm, make a lot of reduction in the carbon emissions. Also, if you take into account that we're not using any fossil fuels vehicles, these are mobile robots that use battery. Then, the other thing that we have to take into account is that in sourcing, providers that are green-based or green certified contribute to the total carbon emissions of any product manufacturer in the world. So working with this type of providers and sources is also contributing to reducing the CO2 emissions. In manufacturing is the typical thing that we see here. Well, automation can help in sustainable packaging solutions. For instance, getting AI algorithms to make the sealing and the quality and integrity of the packaging much more consistent. And also implementing AI algorithms to identify potential problems or quality issues that will end up increasing the waste, either the product or in the packaging solutions at manufacturing. Once the product is gone outside in the distribution system, Well, one of the key things that we have found is there's still a lot of carbon emissions coming from the fossil fuels of the vehicles we use. So replacing all the fossil fuels powered by fossil fuels for electrical ones like AMRs, automated mobile robots, is biggest contributor in the logistics, intralogistics, and in logistics at the distribution stage of the value chain. And then we come to the biggest issue, which is the usage and the recovery. To make it circular, we need to make sure that, for instance, the packaging will get recycled properly and re-enter the economy in that cycle. First problem we have is that we as consumers are not recovering or encouraging to be recycling all the packaging waste that we have. For instance, the PET bottles. Here automation is helping a lot. For instance, having these automatic vending machines, but with the purpose of doing the recycling much easier and user-friendly or consumer-friendly for every one of us. So the actual packaging can be re-entering correctly or much better, in a much better way to the cycle. Also, the other thing that we can do with automation is realize the end-to-end traceability with digital watermarks, especially because with the new regulations in Europe and the extended producer responsibility, there's a commitment for manufacturers to make sure that all the packaging waste that they put in the environment is properly sorted and accounted, so they can actually put the taxes and pay the prices they have. If you see something like this out of the factory and in the supermarket, the digital watermark won't be seen. It is invisible through a human eye. But those watermarks help at the recycling facilities to identify and properly sort different types of packaging to put it in the correct recycling stream. Because the other big issue in recycling and getting the circular economy in the packaging waste is that the quality is not consistent, because there's a lot of contamination between different types of packaging and different types of plastics. So with the digital watermark is something that we can solve that with automation and serialize everything to the item level and make it end-to-end circularity. So in a nutshell, in every stage of the value chain, automation can help, even from the sourcing, doing the automated farmhouses, getting much more intelligence in the use of the resources, in manufacturing, reducing the waste, reducing errors and quality errors in packaging, or for instance, getting more speed, testing new sustainable materials for packaging. Then in distribution, replacing fossil fuels with autonomous mobile robots powered by batteries is one of the ways to go. And in the recovery and recycling, having automated solutions so the consumers can be more encouraged to recycle and put their packages in place is much better. And this is basically the way to go. Decarbonize all the value chain and make it circular. And for that, automation has a lot of things to offer. One of the biggest things that we can get with automation is getting data. Data is important to get all the circular coming and all the information flowing around the value chain. And for that, the solutions that we have, also powered by artificial intelligence, are very helping reducing the carbon emission, the total carbon emissions of everything. Well, and that was all. Thank you very much. It was a very quick summary. If you want to know more, follow us and get a lot of insights in our